Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Huddle Hub podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Yes, it is Mother's Day. We're still here. That's right. We are still here because we got a lot of football news to talk about that's coming out of this week. So we're going to be here for at least about 60 minutes, maybe 90 minutes. It all depends on how long it takes us to get through everything we're going to get through today. We're going to get through the college football preseason top 25 has come out. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the top 10 pass catching groups. Now, the NFL, .com put out the top 8 pass catching groups. Well, I added 2 more pass catching groups to make it an even 10 because that's what I do. So we are going to talk about that. And also the projected 2026 draft order. Yes, there is a projected 2026 draft order, and you guys are not going to believe. Actually, you might believe who they have picked to going to Super Bowl 60 and who's going to win. So we are also going to talk about that. But first, we are going to get into the news that is coming out of the world of football. And before we get into that, I want to let everybody know to please head over to all of the Huddle Hub podcast social medias, TikTok, X, and YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. It would definitely be appreciated. And I'm just going to bring this up on the screen real quick for you guys. If you don't mind, head over to all of our social medias at the Huddle Hub Pod, TikTok, X, and YouTube. And of course, make sure you're hitting that follow button here on the Twitch channel here at the Huddle Hub Podcast. Would definitely appreciate that, guys. But let's get into the news that's coming out of football. First off, let's get into the breaking news that came out as of yesterday. Derek Carr, after 11 NFL seasons, has decided to retire. Now, he was dealing with a shoulder injury coming out of last season. Back in December in a game against the Giants, he ended up injuring his hand, and coming out of the game as well, it was brought up that he may have injured his shoulder as well. So he had decided that instead of, jumping through all these hoops that's been going on, trying to keep the Saints in the loop of what's going on, first off, let's backtrack. He went and got a second opinion on the injury. And the doctor said that you could get surgery. You may not have to get surgery. But if you get the surgery, it's going to prolong your comeback, meaning the 2025 season would be done. Derek Carr would not play. But if you don't get the surgery, is there a chance of recovering? Yes. Is there a chance of recovering to your full potential? No. There's not. So the news came out yesterday, on Saturday, on May 10th, that after 11 NFL seasons, quarterback Derek Carr decided to retire. So these are some of the words from Derek Carr upon Derek Carr. These are words that came from him as of yesterday. A press conference was held. Upon reflection of prayer and in discussion with Heather, who is his wife, I've decided to retire from the National Football League. He said in the statement on Saturday, for more than 11 years, we have been incredibly blessed, and we are forever grateful and humbled by this experience. It's difficult to find the right words to express our thanks to all of the teammates, coaches, management, ownership, team officials, and especially the fans who made this journey so special. Your unwavering support has meant the world to us. Thank you. Those are Derek Carr's words. So after 9 seasons with the Raiders and 2 seasons with the Saints, Derek Carr decided to hang up the cleats and has decided to retire from the National Football League. I will say this. When you look at Derek Carr and his level of play, I mean, when he got drafted by the Raiders, he wasn't going into the best of situations. Okay. I mean, the Raiders for the past few years, we know, has been trying to get back to where they were back in 2002. You know, the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers, they obviously got manhandled by that Buccaneer defense and, ended up losing. But trying to build up to that level. Now, Derek Carr, has he played in a couple playoff games? Yes, he's had a couple playoff games with the Raiders, none with the Saints. But, trying to go into an organization, as we know, there's quarterbacks that, Johnny Manziel going into the Browns. They brought him in and thought, this is our guy. This is the guy that's going to take us to where we need to be because of the success that he had in college. And, after trying to build that team for the past couple years, I mean, Devontae Adams coming in, and shortly after Devontae Adams comes in, he gets sent over to the Saints. He leaves the Raiders. He finally gets a receiving core that is reliable, the potential, and he ends up out the door. And that's rough. And then he goes to a team that's in a complete rebuild, even though, they have Alvin Kamara. It's in somewhat in a rebuild and doesn't have the success that he wanted to have out there. So you look at Derek Carr's stats, he had a 65.1 completion percentage to end his career, 41,245 yards, 257 touchdowns, 112 interceptions. He had a 92.8 quarterback rating to end his career. So not bad statistics to end the career. But you knew that he wanted to play more. Now the common projected NFL career nowadays is 5 years because of the prolong of playing in college. I mean, look at Tyler Shough. The Saints quarterback, Tyler Shough, one just got drafted this year. 26 years old. Who knows how long he's going to play? At 26 years old, he played in college for 6-7 years? Because of the pandemic. That prolonged a lot of college careers. Now, next year is the last year where we're going to see, the extended college players. We're going to be back on track to where college guys are coming out of college after 3 years. They're going to be 21, 22 years old. It's going to be back on track. But they're still going to have that fifth-year option. So if they stay for 4 years and they say, you know what, I'm going to stay for a fifth, they're going to be able to. But will we see a lot of players do that? Maybe not. Maybe not. Because there's going to be guys that are going to want to get into the league sooner at 21, 22 years old. They're not going to want to go in at 25, 26 years old. They're not. So, 31 years old, or Derek Carr, 11 years into his career, and I believe he's retiring at the age of 34. So I'm going to fact check myself real quick on that one, but I believe 34 years old is Derek Carr's retiring age. And it's sad. It's sad to 34 years old, just turned 34. It's just sad to see a player's career come to an end as short as it did, and I'm sure Derek Carr has had a lot of years left planned to stay in this league. A lot of years left. So. But we do have more news to get into here. Just got to make a banner for myself because I do have one more segment we're going to do today. All right, there we go. One more segment we're going to have today is the top 10 second-year players to have a breakout 2025 season. That's going to be another segment for today. But right now we're doing the news. But yeah, Derek Carr, man, I'll tell you, it was crazy and sad to hear yesterday, and I understand if a team is trying to find out, what their starting player, starting quarterback, wide receiver, whatever it may be, wants to do. I get that. But now the question lies is, at 34 years old, being told two different things, surgery and you're going to be out for 2025, or no surgery and you're not going to be back to the player you were. When you hear that, it's almost like, okay, go get the surgery, be done in 2025. And if the Saints don't want you, move on. You're 34 years old. There's plenty of players out there that are older than you that are still getting contracts. And you can go get your surgery, rehab, get yourself back to possibly getting back. See where you are after your surgery. And maybe that's the route he goes. Maybe that's what happens. Because now he's released. He's going to have a $10 million contract, $10 million guaranteed to his name. That's it. He's made over $200 million in contracts in his career. Okay, so he has the money. He's going to be okay. Him, his wife, his kids, good. But maybe that's what Derek Carr does. Maybe he goes and gets the surgery, rehab, see how he feels, and maybe comes back into the league in 2026. Maybe he says, hey, I'm healthy enough. Put me on the free agent list. Maybe. Who knows? Derek Carr fans, don't get your hopes up because it may not happen. But maybe it's a possibility. Maybe. I mean, we are very much advanced in the medical field nowadays. I mean, things are so advanced. I mean, there's professional wrestlers who were told 10 years ago, Adam Copeland, you're done. You can't do it no more. Now he's been in AEW for damn near 2 years. So it's possible. Maybe it's possible. Who knows? But one last time, Derek Carr, 11 seasons, two with the Saints, 9 with the Raiders, retires at the age of 34. John Gruden is back into the world of football. Okay? He is part of the Nashville Cats ownership group organization. Now, I didn't get to do too much research on who the Nashville Cats are. So, as of right now, we're going to do that. The Nashville Cats are the new AF1 League team. So, I'm guessing this is an arena football team. Yes, it is an arena football team. So John Gruden is part of the ownership organization, ownership group and organization of the Nashville Cats, which is an arena football league or a football team. So John Gruden back in the world of football. Now, I came across this news on Monday and I was like, I thought he was already back. He's doing his quarterback club stuff, obviously sitting down with the draftees and everything like that, but he does that every year. We see it. You go on Facebook and you see all his unboxings with all these colleges sending him stuff, which are cool videos. If you haven't seen a John Gruden unboxing video yet, go watch one. They're highly entertaining. Highly entertaining. It's great. So, but John Gruden, part of the Nashville Cats ownership group, the Arena Football League. We had the Philadelphia Soul in Pennsylvania here, and John Bon Jovi was part of the ownership group. Yeah, he was the part owner of the Philadelphia Soul, along with many other players like Marquise Goodwin, the ex-New Orleans Saints wide receiver. I got to meet Marquise Goodwin and Ron Jaworski, the old Eagles quarterback, who was part of the ownership group as well. Got to meet them at a training camp session a few years back. Super nice guys. You ever get a chance to meet Marquise Goodwin or Ron Jaworski, by all means, meet them. They're nice people. Great experience. So, yeah, John Gruden back in the world of football in an ownership group of an arena football team. Julian Edelman, the Patriots ex-wide receiver, he is going to be inducted as the 37th member of the Patriots Hall of Fame. So the 37th, he will be inducted sometime this season. It'll probably be done against a rivalry team like the Bills, the Jets, or the Dolphins, one of those three teams. But he will be inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame as the 37th member. So congratulations, Julian Edelman, for being the 37th member of the Patriots Hall of Fame. Devin Bush, linebacker from the Browns, he was arrested this past week. He was arrested for harassment and assault charges in Pennsylvania on Monday. All the information has not come out on this yet, but Devin Bush, linebacker from the Browns, was arrested on Monday. You know, I will say this. When you become a player in the NFL, me and John have talked about this many, many times, that, you know, you work all your life to get to where you're at, you know, being in the NFL and everything like that, you know, even any professional league, you know, just try and keep your head clean, you know, try and keep a good head on your shoulders, you know, during the season. Go to practice, go home. Go to practice, go home. I get it. You want to go out and enjoy yourself on a weekend, a Friday night, whatever, go to the club or whatever like that. But walk away from situations that you don't need to be involved in. You know, it's seriously. Now, as far as any other notes on this, it was just assault and harassment charges, says in Pennsylvania. There's really no other information as far as anything. It was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the suburbs. The person that accused him apparently is a girlfriend. And yeah, so I don't know. He apparently has a preliminary hearing on the 20th of May. And the Browns right now are trying to gather more information. And I guess they'll decide what they're going to do moving forward. You know, maybe, you know, Devin Bush may be done for the year. Who knows? Who knows? Another player that we definitely know is probably done for the year until everything is figured out is Justin Tucker, the ex-kicker of the Ravens. He was released by the Ravens this past week. He's facing up to 16 accusations from spas for inappropriate behavior in the Baltimore area. Now, we heard about this news a couple months ago that it got leaked out, that he, along with, you know, Deshaun Watson, you know, Deshaun Watson, he's being accused for this. Now Justin Tucker's being accused for 16 spas in the Baltimore area. Now, it's all accusation. It's all alleged. You know, he's not proven guilty yet. So, but the thing is you have 16 places that are saying you came and did the same thing. You know, and I'm not sitting here saying, hey, he's guilty either. We can't say he's guilty yet. We can't. But when you have those numbers up there, you know, NFL teams are probably thinking, you know what? We got to let this guy go. You know, he has 16 places accusing him for doing the same thing. You know, we got to keep our reputation clean, and we got to, you know, just tell him he's got to go for now. So Justin Tucker, after many, many seasons with the Ravens, was released. And whatever the determination is and the ruling is, when he faces his consequences, you know, whether he has to go to court or whatever, you know, it's going to determine whether he can come back into football or not. You know, we had a talk last week about Ruggs, you know, with everything that happened with him. Should he be allowed in football again? I said no. No. And that's just my opinion. Justin Tucker, if he's found guilty, and he goes and serves his time, should he be allowed back in the world of football? No. Again, keep your head clean. That's it. That's all you got to do is stay out of trouble. And it's not a hard thing to do. There's many people in this world that have never, ever been in trouble with the law. It's not a hard thing to do. So Justin Tucker released from the Ravens. Again, facing 16 accusations from spas all around the Baltimore area for inappropriate behavior. So crazy. The 2027 NFL draft is being held in Washington, D.C. Now, we know the 2026 NFL draft will be held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And now the 2027 NFL draft is going to be held in Washington, D.C. So the East Coast is going to have 2 NFL drafts in a row, which is kind of cool, So that's exciting. I was thinking about going to the draft next year since it's out in Pittsburgh, but I may wait until 2027 to go to Washington. So there were some pictures that were leaked as far as what this draft is going to look like. I'm going to see if I can find some of these pictures, because the way this looks, and I had these pictures prepped up, ready to go, but then I had to erase them. So let me see if I can bring up the pictures that were posted earlier this week in regards to what the NFL draft is going to look like in 2027. Because again, they had some pictures posted on what it's going to look like in Washington. Let me see if I can do this. See if I can find them this way. Because there were some images that were released. Okay, so yeah, here is one. I'm going to bring this one up. And here we go. All right, so share. All right, so I don't know how big this picture is going to be, but there we go. This is what the draft is going to look like in 2027 in Washington, D.C. That's what the stage is going to look like. That is insane. Insane. I mean, the draft this year in Green Bay looked amazing. The past couple year draft looked amazing out in like Tennessee and everything. This looks crazy awesome. So I'm thinking I might just wait until the 2027 draft in Washington, D.C. I might. But this is what the draft is going to look like in Washington in 2027 as the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, and President Donald Trump announced this past week. So definitely looks awesome. Definitely does. Got the other news here. George Pickens. In other news, George Pickens, as we know, the wide receiver from the Steelers was traded to the Cowboys for a third-round 2026 pick and a late 2027 pick. George Pickens heading to Dallas. He was on his last year of his rookie contract in Pittsburgh. Now, reports say that he did not ask for a trade. All the trade rumors that were coming out were not true, but this deal was done pretty quickly between the Steelers and the Cowboys. So now George Pickens is down in Dallas, and he will be a part of the Cowboys in the 2025 season. Now, he's only going to be there for a year. He is basically playing for a contract. He is not under a full contract right now, just 2025. That's it. So there's a chance that he may just be a Cowboy this year and end up somewhere else in 2026, unless the Cowboys decide to extend him. But as we know, the Cowboys as of late have been having a lot of issues with extending players' contracts. Micah Parsons, still waiting. There's a couple players in Dallas that are still waiting for extensions, and George Pickens is the latest to be added on to this list after being traded there. Now, George Pickens said that he's not worried about a contract right now. He's just happy to be down in Dallas, and he's happy to be part of the organization. So, George Pickens on his last year of his rookie contract, and he will spend it in Dallas for the 2025 season. The Jaguars released wide receiver Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis, as we know, had a lot of potential coming into the league, but in the 2024 season down in Jacksonville was not the best for Gabe Davis. So the Jaguars decided, hey, we're going to release him. Now, as far as his statistics are concerned, in the 2024 season, he had 20 catches for 239 yards and 2 touchdowns. He has 183 catches in his career for 2,969 yards and 29 touchdowns. Now, Gabe Davis was drafted in 2020 in the 4th round to Buffalo. And, So far, Gabe Davis having a rough start to his career going into his 5th season. He's now a free agent, so he's going to end up somewhere, maybe. Any team that's going to decide to sign him. So we'll have to see. Dallas Goedert, the tight end from the Eagles, has restructured his contract in a small sense. He's going to be he signed a 1-year extension for $10 million. He has $1 million in incentives at the end of the season. So certain incentives that are met, he can end up earning up to $1 million in incentives at the end of the 2025-2026 season. I say 2025-2026 because, season starts in 2025, and obviously Super Bowl 60 ends in February of 2026. So 2025-2026 season, that's how it's considered. Jadeveon Clowney, the edge rusher, was released by the Panthers this past week. Jadeveon Clowney, as we know, this was his 8th team. His 7th or 8th team in his career. Now, Jadeveon Clowney, back in 2014, got drafted to the Texans. He spent about 5 seasons out in Houston, and then he ended up in Seattle in 2019, Tennessee in 2020, Cleveland for the 2021 and 2022 season. Then he went out to Baltimore in 2023, and then Carolina in 2024. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 teams in his career. But now released by the Panthers. He says he still wants to play. So who knows where Jadeveon Clowney ends up? We'll have to definitely find out. But there are a lot of teams out there that can use edge rushers right now. I'm thinking maybe the Lions. They didn't end up signing Zadarius Smith. I even said it on the very first episode of the Huddle Hub podcast almost 2 months ago that Zadarius Smith is a player that I think the Lions should have signed. They brought him in because of Aiden Hutchinson being out. Didn't have a bad season. And now they just let him walk because Darius Smith is still out there. It's all about who picks him up. So Jadeveon Clowney, we'll have to see where he ends up. But also in the Panthers organization, running back Jonathan Brooks, drafted back in 2024. So his rookie season, he was placed on the PUP list this past week. He's going to be out for the 2025 season with a knee/ACL injury that he suffered back in week 14. So Jonathan Brooks, he will miss the 2025 season for the Panthers. So the Panthers are going to probably have to go out and look for a running back. A couple running backs out on the market. Nick Chubb, is one of them. I would not be surprised to see Nick Chubb in a Panthers uniform because the Browns, they're not looking to re-sign Nick Chubb. So who knows? Maybe Nick Chubb ends up out in Carolina, but if we look at all the other free agent running backs who are available right now, Jamal Williams, Gus Edwards, like I said, Nick Chubb, Naheem Miller-Hines, Amir Abdullah, J.K. Dobbins, Chase Edmonds, Dearness Johnson, a couple of good running backs, Trey Sermon, a couple of good running backs are available on the free agent list for the Panthers to go out and sign. So who knows? Maybe they go out and sign somebody like a Nick Chubb. Again, I could see Nick Chubb in a Panthers uniform this year. I could. William Hardwick, defensive back from Austin Peay State University, passed away in a car crash at the age of 22. Very sad news for Austin Peay State University. 31-year-old man later was arrested in connection to the crash on a DUI charge. So, this wasn't even William Hardwick, the player. He's defensive back. Wasn't even his fault. Just driving and got hit. Sad news. 22 years old, bright future ahead of him, and just sad. Sad to hear. A kid that could have potentially been in the league next year or the following year. And, his life cut short because of a DUI. 31-year-old driver who hit him. You always hear those ads, don't drink and drive. Don't get high and drive. Anything like that. Don't. It's as simple as that. We have ride shares. Uber. Lyft. There is still something called taxi cabs that you can call and they come pick you up. Call a family member. Call a friend. It's not that hard. Because now this potential player, this player that probably had a lot of potential as far as playing football, life cut short. And not only affecting his life, affecting his family. It's sad. Be smart, people. That's all I got to say. Be smart. Think a little bit. North Carolina Football Organization. Yes, the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. They have banned Coach Belichick's girlfriend from the facilities and campus. Now, there wasn't really a lot of news on why they are banning her from the campus or the facilities or anything like that, but she's banned. This is news. Just saying. There was not a lot of coverage on why, but she's banned. Jaden Higgins, the second-round pick for the Texans, wide receiver, out of, I believe it was, I want to say Iowa State. I do want to say Iowa State. And I don't want to mess this up, but Jaden Higgins. Out of Iowa State. I was correct. Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State, wide receiver who's just drafted in the second round by the Texans, is the first player in NFL history to receive a fully guaranteed rookie contract. No other player past the first round has ever received a guaranteed rookie contract. And Jaden Higgins, wide receiver for the Texans, is the first one ever to do it. So congratulations to Jaden Higgins. That Iowa State wide receiving core was a very, very good receiving core in the 2024 season, and definitely much deserved. So, yeah. Shedeur Sanders. He requested to wear the number 2 for the Browns, and he was denied of it. Instead, he will wear the number 12 this season. He wore the number 2 throughout his college season or his college career and was very adamant about wearing the number 2, but he was declined of it, and he will now wear the number 12. Mason Graham, also with the Browns, defensive lineman, he requested, he got asked what number he'd like to wear. And well, we have video footage from that, courtesy of the Browns. Let's check it out.
Hi right now, but you could definitely talk to Poe if you would. Step into my office. We'll look at numbers real quick.
Yeah. You think 55? You think I can pull that one off? A little negotiation?
I mean, you could definitely talk to him.
What's the likelihood of me if you had a percentage? Not high?
I wouldn't say hi right now, but you could definitely talk to Poe if you would like. He's been with the team now for a few years, and he's a vet in the league. With D-line, you can go 50 through 79 and then 90 through 99.
What do you have in the 90s?
Currently, we have 94 available.
That's it?
Yeah. Now, what I can do is you can tell me a number right now, and we can kind of wait and make it temporary, so they won't print any jerseys until we make it official. So it has to be official before week 1.
He was hoping for 95.
95? Yeah. I don't know if that one's going to come over. I have a feeling that one will be really tough to get.
I guess 94.
Okay.
Right now, then.
So I'll mark you down for 94.
So Mason Graham will wear the number 94 until further notice, as the manager there said that he has to have an official number before week 1 of the regular season. So Mason Graham currently will wear the number 94. He wanted the number 55, but he has to ask Pochik, the offensive lineman, who's been in the league for quite a while now, whether he'd be willing to give up his number or not. Now, we've seen players in the past, rookies ask players for a number that they want to wear, and whether they've given them money or bought them something that they wanted, incentivize them for giving up their number. But Mason Graham, he wants the number 55. He has to talk to the offensive lineman Pochik about getting number 55 until further notice. He's going to wear the number 94. As you see, they brought up the number 95. We all know who wears number 95. The man who got one of the highest contracts as a non-quarterback in Myles Garrett. They were joking about him getting the number 95. I'm trying to find out if you get number 95. That's not going to happen. Myles Garrett's not going to give up the number 95. Pochek, I don't see him giving up the number 55. I think Mason Graham is going to move forward and be number 94 for the Browns, but we'll have to find out. He's got to have an official number again by the beginning of the season, before week 1, so that way they can make up his jersey and everything like that. So through the preseason, he's going to wear the number 94. So by at least the end of August, they have to have an official number. So, yeah. So there's other stuff coming out in the news. Deion Sanders, he held a press conference this week, and a lot of comparison to Travis Hunter. A lot of people are comparing Travis Hunter to Deion Sanders' play. Well, let's see what Primetime had to say about this.
As an athlete than you were?
It's not me against Travis. I had my turn, man. I'm not a doorknob anymore. You can't just turn me on and off for like a light switch anymore. I don't do that. Travis is everything. It's his turn now. I want him to have all the accolades, all the praise, all the love, all the attention, all the focus that he desires. I've had my turn. I'm that old boxing coach in the corner that says left, right, hit him right here. All right, come on up to the corner. Let me tell you this. That's who I am right now. I've had my turn. It's not me against him.
Do you see some of your...
I see similarities in certain areas, especially away from the game, especially his demeanor away from the game. I absolutely love it, and I love who he is in the game. We don't smoke, we don't drink, we're not profane. Travis is a really, really, really good young man.
Is Travis more talented as an athlete?
So there it is, the comparison. The media comparing Travis Hunter to Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders saying we don't smoke, we don't drink, we don't use profanity. We are very, calling Travis Hunter pretty much a very well-rounded kid. And when you look at Travis Hunter and the way he is, whether he's in interviews or anything like that, I mean, he's a very well-presented kid. I mean, being drafted second overall to the Jaguars in the 2025 NFL draft, I mean, he was a very much anticipated player in the NFL draft this year. Now he's a Jacksonville Jaguar being compared to Deion Sanders. And I'm sure Travis Hunter's saying the same thing as Deion. Like, I don't want to be compared to anybody. I want to create my own path. I want to create my own legacy. You guys are going to compare me all you want to Deion Sanders. That's going to be your words. But, just like Deion's saying there, like Travis Hunter, he's going to form his own path. Is there similarities there? Yeah, he sees them. But like Dion said, he's like that old boxing coach telling you left, right, uppercut, move your feet, shuffle around, do this, do that. So we'll have to see. Sticking around in the Browns camp, Dylan Gabriel held a press conference earlier this week. And this is one thing that I'm kind of bugged out on a little bit. Okay. There was a person who seems like they're either with the media or works for the Browns. You see his mouth go, I'm taller than him. Check this out. We're going to talk about this.
Like I'm going to go get that rep, and, I live it like that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, as you see, he was mouthing, I'm taller than him. He's a Cleveland Browns reporter. Okay, you were there to report the team. And to stand there and mouth to the media, I'm taller than him. First off, these players, he's not wearing cleats probably. He's probably not wearing regular shoes. He's probably wearing slides, okay? Which puts your feet flat to the floor level, okay? And to stand there and be on camera and for the camera to pick up and this get released that the guy's standing there, oh, I'm taller than him. I'm taller than him. Like, why? Why do you have to do that? Now, Dylan Gabriel, he's 5'11", 205 pounds. 5'11". Now, a common quarterback is what? 6'3", 6'4". We've seen many small quarterbacks in this league. There's a lot of small quarterbacks in this league. Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa. A lot of small quarterbacks who are having success. So for that, why? There's no point in it. No point whatsoever. To go out there and embarrass the kid like that, that's embarrassing to him. He's a rookie. There was no point in that whatsoever. But that's all I got for you guys in the news. So we're going to move forward. We got a couple other segments to do today. We got 4 segments yet to do today. And the first one we are going to do is, let's stick around on this on my notes paper because I originally took these notes. But the top 10 second-year players to break out in 2025. Now, some of these players, did they have a great 2024 season or a good 2024 season? Yes. Now, these players are second-year players who are expected to have breakout years, a breakout year in 2025. At number 10, Nate Wiggins, the cornerback from the Ravens, expected to have a breakout 2025 season. Number 9, Terrion Arnold, the cornerback from the Lions. Number 8, Dallas Turner, the edge rusher from the Vikings. Number 7, Chop Robinson, the edge rusher from the Dolphins. Number 6, Olumiyawa Fashino, the offensive tackle from the Jets, expected to have a breakout season. Number 5, Laiatu Latu, the edge rusher from the Colts. At number 4, Xavier Legette, wide receiver from the Panthers. At number 3, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver from the Cardinals. At number 2, Caleb Williams, quarterback from the Bears. And number 1, quarterback Dre May from the Patriots. Top 10 players who are expected to have a breakout year in 2025. Now, when I look at this list, could Drake May end up having a breakout year? It all depends on how his offensive line blocks for him. It all depends on if his wide receivers can get open for him. There's a lot of other moving things that have to happen in order for him to have a breakout. Just like Caleb Williams, the Bears went out and they rebuilt that whole offensive line. It's all about if they block for him and he has an opportunity to find his receivers. So that's what it's going to come down to for both Drake May and Caleb Williams. Marvin Harrison Jr., can he have a breakout year? Yes, it's all about if Kyler Murray gets the ball to him. And that's going to be that. Same with Xavier Legette out in Carolina with Bryce Young. It's going to be all about the offensive line blocking for Bryce to get the ball to Xavier Legette. Laiatu Latu, the edge rusher from the Colts. Chop Robinson, edge rusher from the Dolphins. Dallas Turner, edge rusher from the Vikings. Could they have breakout years at the edge rusher position? Yes, they could. But there's chances that they get double teamed. So, I mean, could they have breakout? Yeah, it's going to be all about their first step. Olimayu Fashiono, the offensive tackle of the Jets, it's going to be all depends if he blocks for Justin Fields. You know, how great he blocks for him. And then Terrion Arnold and Nate Wiggins, the cornerbacks, Arnold from the Lions, Wiggins from the Ravens. You know, it's going to be about them sticking with the wide receivers that they block, that they stick with. And, you know, it's going to come down to see who can have the most interceptions or broken up passes, anything like that. So we'll have to definitely see. But that's the top 10 list for the second-year players who are expected to have a breakout 2025. Guys, we're going to take about a 20-second, 30-second break here. With that being said, make sure you are following the Huddle Hub podcast over on all the social medias on X, YouTube, and TikTok at the Huddle Hub Pod. Here's a little bit of a 20 to 30-second preview for you guys. All right, guys. So please make sure that you are following the Huddle Hub podcast over on all the social medias on TikTok, YouTube, and on X at the Huddle Hub Pod. And make sure you are hitting the follow button right here on the Huddle Hub podcast Twitch channel. Would definitely appreciate that. So let's get into our next segment, the projected 2026 draft order. Now, this is just projected. This projection is based on how they think teams are going to do in 2025, and it breaks it all the way down to who's going to make it to Super Bowl 60 and who's ultimately going to win. And this is an official projection right now. So here we go. From 1 to 32, this is going to be the draft order that's projected as of right now. At number 1, the Browns. Browns are projected to have the number 1 overall pick. The Saints are projected to have the number 2. The Titans are expected to have the number 3. The Giants are expected to have the number 4. The Jets are expected to have the number 5. The Panthers are going to be at 6. The Colts are at 7. The Browns are projected to be at 8 in a draft with the Jaguars. So the Jaguars are expected to be at number 8, but the projection is that the Browns are going to trade back in to the first round with the Jaguars and be at the number 8 position. The Raiders are expected to be at number 9. The Rams are expected to be at number 10 by way of the Falcons. So the Falcons are expected to be the number 10, but the Rams are going to be trading up to the number 10 spot with the Falcons. The Patriots are expected to be number 11, Cardinals at 12, Dolphins at 13, Seahawks at 14, Cowboys at 15, Steelers at 16, Bears at 17, Vikings at 18, Broncos at 19, Texans at 20, Buccaneers at 21, Chargers at 22, Packers at 23, Rams at 24. So the Rams are expecting to pick twice in the first round. The Bengals at 25, the Commanders at 26, 49ers at 27, Chiefs at 28, Lions at 29, Ravens at 30. And then here's the 2 Super Bowl teams, 31 to 32. Now the 31 team is the loser of Super Bowl 60, and the winner is number 32. The Bills are expected to be number 31, so they are expected to win the AFC Championship and lose in the Super Bowl to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's how they projected the draft to go. Pick 19 through 24 are the wild card round losers of the playoffs. The pick 25 through 28 are the divisional round losers. 29 and 30 are the conference title losers, and 31, 32 are the Super Bowl teams. So basically how it's looking right now is 19 is the Broncos. The Texans are 20. The Chargers are 22. And so the Broncos, Texans, and Chargers are the AFC teams, and the Buccaneers, Packers, and Rams are the NFC teams that are going to lose in the wildcard round. And then 25 through 28, the Bengals and Chiefs are the AFC teams, and the Commanders and 49ers are the NFC teams. And then in the conference title game, the Lions and Eagles would play in the NFC title game. Lions would lose. And then the Ravens, Bills in the AFC title game. Ravens would lose. And then the Bills would end up being in the Super Bowl with the Eagles. And the Eagles beat the Bills in the Super Bowl and become back-to-back champions. So that is the projected 2026 NFL draft. So, yeah. That's the projection. We'll have to definitely see as the 2025 season. We are already getting the full swing as rookie training camps have started already. And, football is basically back already. So exciting. Exciting. Let's get into our next segment, the top 10 pass catching groups for the 2025 season. Now, this is by source of NFL.com. I added 2 more teams. They actually picked 8 teams. I added 2 more to make it an even 10. So, by way of NFL.com, but 2 other teams added by me. At number 10, and this is a team I added, okay? So, at number 10 are the Commanders. Now, when you look at the Commanders wide receiving group, you got Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, Deebo Samuels, KJ Osborne, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, Chris Moore, Mike Strahan, Ja'Cory Brooks, and Kazmir Allen. Okay, that is the wide receiving group. Oh, and Jacoby Jones. That is the wide receiving crew for the Commanders. Okay, not a bad group. Deebo Samuels being added in the trade with the 49ers during free agency. And, I add Commanders to this group because I think the Commanders, they have some very big potential this season to have a top 10 wide receiving core. At number 9, another team that I added was the Houston Texans. Okay, you look at the Texans wide receiving room right now, and you got Nico Collins, John Mechie, Christian Kirk, Tank Dell, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Justin Watson, Braxton Berrios, Xavier Hutchinson, Xavier Johnson, Jarrett Wayne, Johnny Johnson, and Daniel Jackson. That is the wide receiving room for the Texans right now. Okay. Now, the Texans 2 years ago, when C.J. Stroud first came into the league, rookie, had a hell of a year, and I think the Texans wide receiving crew is going to be a top 10 crew this year. Now, this is the teams that, the NFL.com picked. So this is a shout out to NFL.com. Number 8 is the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys, again, they added George Pickens in a trade this week with Pittsburgh. They also have Jalen Tolbert, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Brooks, Jonathan Mingo, Cavante Turpin, Ryan Flournoy, Paris Campbell, Jalen Cropper, Trayshawn Holden, Kelvin Harmon, and Josh Kelly. That is the wide receiving room for the Cowboys. Not a bad wide receiving room for the Cowboys. It's going to be all about number 4, though. It is. It's going to be all about what Dak Prescott does. This is a good-looking wide receiver room. It is. Not a bad-looking wide receiving room. But it's going to be all about what number 4 does. It's going to come down to him. At number 7 is the Miami Dolphins. Okay? So we're going to look at the Miami Dolphins wide receiving room. They got Khalil Shakir, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Curtis Samuels, Eric Ezukama, I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Nick Westbrook Akine from Tennessee, I guess from a trade in Tennessee. D. Eskridge. They also got Tariq Black, Theo Weiss Jr., Taj Washington, Andrew Armstrong, AJ Henning, and Monterey Baldwin. Not a bad wide receiver room in Miami. So Miami at number 7. At number 6 is the Detroit Lions. You look at the Detroit Lions room: Tim Patrick, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Isaac Tesla, Khalif Raymond, Dominique Lovett, Jackson Meeks, Ronnie Bell, Torn Kennedy, and Jacoby Keeney James. Very good looking wide receiver room for the Lions. Again, definitely a top 10 wide receiver room. Definitely. At number 5 is the Los Angeles Rams as we look at their room. The newly added Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, Konata Mumfield, Xavier Smith, True Edwards, Quintez Cephas, Britton Covey, Mario Williams, Drake Stoops, and Brennan Presley. They got Britton Covey from Philadelphia. I like the addition of Quintez Cephas. You know, the Rams definitely, and then Devontae Adams. The Rams definitely have a very good-looking wide receiver room. It's going to come down to what Matthew Stafford can do. And now you're probably thinking, like, Mike, what are you talking about? Matthew Stafford is elite quarterback. You know, he's definitely a Hall of Famer when he calls it a day. And I agree with that. I do. But it's also another season added on to him. And he's getting up there. He's been in this league a very long time. So it's going to be all about what Matthew Stafford can do. So we'll definitely see. At number 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, Trey Palmer, Jalen McMillan, Sterling Shepard, Raheem Jarrett, Ryan Miller, Tez Johnson, Dennis Houston, Garrett Green, and Cameron Johnson. Buccaneers have, and I will say this, probably one of the most, next to the Eagles and the Bengals, the Buccaneers have the 3rd most attractive wide receiving room in the NFL. They do. And a lot of you may disagree with me on that, but I think they do. At number 3, the Vikings. Now, I was a little surprised in this one, but then I looked at this wide receiver room and I was like, okay, I get it. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor, Tim Jones from Jacksonville in a trade from Jacksonville, Ty Felton, Rondell Moore. I believe they got him in either in a trade or he was on free agency from Atlanta. Lucky Jackson, Thayer Thomas, Silas Bolden, Jashawn Jones, Dante Fleming, Robert Lewis, and Miles Price. Okay. Very good looking wide receiver room in Minnesota. Again, it's going to come down to the quarterback. I mean, their quarterback is coming back from a major injury. Is he even going to start day one? He's saying that he's going to be ready for day one, but, you know, it's going to be what JJ can do. It is. At number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown, Jahad Dotson, Devontae Smith, Johnny Wilson, Terrace Marshall, who they got from Las Vegas, Aeneas Smith, Danny Gray, Elijah Cooks, Taylor Morin, Darius Cooper, and Giles Jackson. That is the wide receiver room out in Philadelphia. Again, one of the most attractive wide receiving rooms in the NFL right now. A lot of your NFL insiders, they did a top 5 wide receiving room list these past couple weeks. The Eagles are number 1 on a lot of people's lists. They are. But then when you look at the number 1 that NFL.com has picked, the Bengals. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Adrian Isovius, Kendrick Pryor, Jermaine Burton, Charlie Jones, Mitchell Tinsley, Cole Burgess, Isaiah Williams, Rashad Owens, Jordan Moore, and Jamoy Mays. Now, the Bengals have a very, very good-looking wide receiving room. Very good-looking wide receiving room. And like I said weeks ago, that if the Bengals can stay healthy, if their wide receivers can stay healthy, if Joe Burrow can stay healthy, if their running backs can stay healthy, the defense gets things together and they get guys in on defense and they stay healthy, the sky is the limit for the Bengals. The Bengals, I think, can have a very big bounce back year this year. Very big. They can even be in the running for the AFC North with the Ravens. They could. This has been the Ravens division for the past 2 years. Pittsburgh let that division slip out of their hands this past season. We've all seen it. They did. But the Bengals, I think if they got a stranglehold on the AFC North, they would not let it slip through their fingers. Not this year. Not this year. Now, are the Bengals a Super Bowl contending team? Yes. They are a Super Bowl contending team, but do we think they're going to get there? I don't know. Because the Bills, they're showing a lot of promise right now. And a lot of other teams are. One team that is not showing a lot that I think is going to take a little bit of a downfall this year, they're still going to be in the playoffs, but the Chiefs. And I'm not saying that the Eagles Super Bowl match, like the Super Bowl is, forced that to happen. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think the Chiefs are going to take a step back this year. I think this is going to be one of those years where the Chiefs kind of come back down to earth and they have, an 11-6 season or a 12-5 season, something like that. And divisional round knocked out. Maybe even a conference title game and knocked out. It could happen, but they're not going to have home field advantage. That's not going to happen. They will probably win the AFC West. I think the Raiders are going to give the Chiefs a run for the AFC West. And I know that's a very big dreaming, but I think the Raiders are. I think the Raiders are going to give the Chiefs a run for the AFC West. I do. And the Raiders may even sneak into the playoffs. But when you look at the projection of the NFL draft for 2026, the Raiders aren't even close. That's the projection, though. It's all about what's going to happen. Last segment of the day, the college football preseason top 25 was released. So we're going to look at that before we get out of here. So this is the top 25. We're going to start from 25 and work our way up to 1. That's how we're going to do this. At number 25, Auburn from the SEC. They're supposed to start the season at number 25. SMU is going to start at number 24. They're from the ACC. Louisville is going to be at number 23 out of the ACC. South Carolina out of the SEC at 22. Texas Tech out of the Big 12 at 21. Tennessee out of the SEC is at number 20. Iowa State out of the Big 12 at 19. Oklahoma out of the SEC at number 18. Arizona State out of the Big 12 at number 17. Michigan out of the Big 10 at number 16. TCU out of the Big 12 at number 15. BYU also out of the Big 12 at number 14. Kansas State out of the Big 12 at number 13. Illinois out of the Big 10 at number 12. Miami out of the ACC starting at number 11. Florida out of the SEC starting at number 10. Alabama out of the SEC is going to start at 9. LSU out of the SEC at number 8. Notre Dame out of the Independents is going to start at 7. Oregon out of the Big 10 is going to start at 6. Georgia out of the SEC at 5. Clemson out of the ACC at 4. Penn State out of the Big 10 at number 3. Texas out of the SEC at number 2. And your number 1 team are the national champion out of the Big 10, Ohio State Buckeyes. Okay, so we have 9 teams in the SEC who are on the top 25. We have 6 teams out of the Big 12, 5 teams out of the Big 10, 4 teams out of the ACC, and then the only independent team is Notre Dame. That is the preseason top 25, the projected top 25 to start the 2025 season for college football. Very exciting to see that this list came out because we are getting closer and closer to the start of the 2025 college football season. We are about 3 months away. June, July, August, 3 months away from the kickoff of the 2025 college football season. And then shortly after that, the kickoff to the NFL season. So, but that's all I got for you guys today. That's it. We're done. 60, 70 minutes. And we are done. I want to give you guys one more reminder to please head over to all the Huddle Hub podcast social medias over on X, YouTube, and TikTok at the Huddle Hub Pod. You can head over to the YouTube and catch all the past episodes in full. You can also catch this episode will also be posted either later today or tomorrow. But you can catch all the past episodes in full over on the Huddle Hub Pod over on YouTube. You can also check out all the posts and announcements over on the X at the Huddle Hub Pod. And over on TikTok, we post some shorts, videos, and everything at the Huddle Hub Pod on TikTok. So at the Huddle Hub Pod all over social media and on Twitch at the Huddle Hub Podcast. Make sure you hit the follow button and the subscribe button on YouTube to follow and turn those notifications on and make sure you're checking out everything that's happening here on the Huddle Hub Podcast. If you want to check me out personally, you can follow me on Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, or Twitch at MetalMike714. I got to turn that off. I don't know why that's scrolling. I don't know why I have that as a scroll. So Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitch, MetalMike714 is where you can find me. Go ahead and follow me on all the socials if you want. This is where you can contact me personally. So, yeah. Other than that, I want to say thank you to everybody who checked us out today on the live. If you not check out the live, thank you for checking out the replay over on the YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. As I always say, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until next week, guys, remember the NFL schedule release is on the 14th, and we may be live here for it. Okay, we may do a special live on Wednesday for the release. I'm not sure yet. That's why I say go over to the X, hit the follow button. I will make the announcement over there if I'm going to be live. If not, then no announcement's going to be made. But there is a possibility. So I'll let you guys know. But until then, be good, be kind, take care of each other, be patient with each other. The world isn't moving as fast as you think. Until next time, guys, see y'all later. Deuces. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.